Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep into the world of custom ROMs for Android phones. I bet you've heard whispers of unlocking hidden features, boosting performance, and really making your phone truly yours. But what are custom ROMs really all about? And are they worth the hype? Well, let's find out together.
I am excited to break it down for you. Let's start with a simple truth. A custom ROM. It's more than just a fresh coat of paint for your phone software. It's like swapping out the entire engine, giving you a whole new level of control and potential.
Okay, that definitely sounds powerful. But before we get ahead of ourselves, can we back up a bit? What exactly is a custom ROM? How is it different from the operating system that comes pre-installed on my phone?
Excellent question. That pre-installed software is called a stock ROM. It's the manufacturer's version of Android bundled with their apps and modifications. A custom ROM, on the other hand, is built by independent developers, often with a laser focus on enhancing performance, adding cool customizations, or even bringing the latest Android features to older devices.
So, it's like choosing between a pre-built house with the standard features versus designing and building your dream home from the ground up.
That's a great way to put it. You get way more freedom with a custom ROM, but it also requires a bit more know-how and a willingness to get your hands dirty.
Now I know the idea of installing a whole new operating system. Might sound intimidating to some people. Is it really something anyone can do? Or is it just for hardcore techies?
Don't worry, it's not as daunting as it might seem. While there are some technical steps involved, like unlocking the bootloader and flashing the ROM, there are detailed guides and resources available to walk you through the process. It's like following a recipe. As long as you have the right ingredients and follow the instructions carefully, you'll be just fine.
That's reassuring to hear. But before we dive into the how-tos, I'm really curious about the WOHY. What are the main reasons people choose to install custom ROMs? Let's start with this whole enhanced performance thing. Is that real or just marketing hype?
Oh, the performance gains are absolutely real. Custom ROMs often strip away the unnecessary bloatware that comes pre-installed on many phones. Imagine all those apps running in the background, eating up your phone's resources.
Oh, I know those apps. The ones I never use but can't seem to get rid of.
Exactly. Custom ROM developers often streamline the system, giving you a much smoother and faster experience, especially if you have an older device that's started to slow down. For example, Lineage OS is a very popular custom ROM that's known for its clean interface and performance improvements. Users often report that their phones feel like new again after installing Lineage OS.
So it's like giving your old phone a shot of adrenaline. But speed isn't everything. What about customization? What kind of changes can I actually make with a custom ROM?
The level of customization is truly impressive. Think of it like this. You can change the entire look and feel of your phone's interface, modify system apps, and even tweak settings that are completely locked down in the stock ROM. It's like having a tailor-made suit for your phone.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Can you give me some specific examples of what I could actually change? I'm a very visual person.
Absolutely. For starters, you can install custom themes and icon packs to give your phone a whole new aesthetic. Want a sleek, dark theme to reduce eye strain at night? No problem. Prefer a vibrant, colorful look? Go for it. Some custom ROMs even allow you to adjust animation speeds for a super snappy feel.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I can already see myself spending hours tweaking every little detail to make my phone perfectly match my personality.
And that's the beauty of it. You're not limited to the choices the manufacturer gives you. You have the power to make your phone truly yours.
Now, another thing I've heard about custom ROMs is that they can actually improve battery life. Is there any truth to that? My phone barely makes it through half a day sometimes.
Yes, it's definitely true. Some custom ROMs are specifically designed to be super battery efficient. They do this by carefully managing background processes, optimizing power consumption, and removing unnecessary features that drain your battery without you even knowing it.
So, it's not just about getting new features or a cool new look. It's also about making my phone actually usable for longer.
Exactly. If you're tired of constantly searching for a charger, a custom ROM designed for battery optimization could be a game changer. You might be surprised how much extra juice you can squeeze out of your phone.
All of this sounds very appealing, but before I get too excited, let's talk about the potential downsides. What are the risks involved in installing a custom ROM? Okay, we've talked about all the amazing things custom ROMs can do, but let's be realistic. There's got to be a catch, right?
Well, like any adventure worth taking, there are a few potential risks to be aware of. The first one you've probably heard of, bricking your device.
Yeah, That's the one that always makes me nervous, like turning my phone into a useless brick. How likely is that to actually happen?
It's important to address that fear head-on. Bricking is when something goes wrong during the installation process, and your phone becomes unresponsive. It's a scary thought, but honestly, it's pretty rare these days, especially if you follow instructions carefully and choose a well-established custom ROM from a reputable developer. Think of it like baking a cake. If you use the right ingredients and follow the recipe step by step, the chances of a complete disaster are slim.
That's a relief to hear. So it's not about being a tech genius. It's about being meticulous and doing your research beforehand. What about warranties? Does installing a custom ROM void my phone's warranty?
That's a great question, and it's important to be upfront about this, yes. Installing a custom ROM will typically void your manufacturer's warranty.
That makes sense. If you're tinkering with the core software, the manufacturer can't be held responsible if something goes wrong.
Exactly. It's like modifying your car's engine. If something breaks, the dealership probably won't cover it, so. If having a warranty is super important to you, a custom ROM might not be the best fit.
So, it's a trade-off. Potentially gaining all these amazing features and customization, but giving up the safety net of a warranty. Now, what about stability? Are custom ROMs generally as stable as the stock software? Or am I going to be dealing with constant bugs and crashes?
Stability is a huge factor to consider, and it really depends on the specific custom ROM you choose. Some ROMs are known for their rock-solid stability, while others might be a bit more experimental and prone to occasional hiccups.
So how can I tell which ones are reliable?
The custom ROM community is a fantastic resource for this. Do your research on reputable websites, like XDA Developers Forum, read reviews from other users, and see which ROMs have a reputation for stability and active development. For example, Lineage OS, which we mentioned earlier, is known for its focus on stability and reliability.
So. Feels like anything else. Check the reviews before you buy. Now, what about apps? Will all my apps work with a custom ROM, or am I going to run into compatibility issues?
This is a common concern. But luckily, app compatibility is generally excellent these days. Most popular apps are designed to work with a wide range of Android devices, including those running custom ROMs.
So, I'm probably safe to assume that my essential apps, like banking, social media, and messaging, will work just fine.
In most cases, yes. However, there's always a chance that a niche app or game might have issues. Again, research is key. Check the forums for the specific custom ROM you're interested in, and see if there are any known compatibility issues with the apps you use regularly.
That's a good tip. Now let's talk about support. If I run into a problem with my custom ROM, who do we turn to for help? With stock software, I can usually call the manufacturer, right?
That's right, but with custom ROMs, it's a little different. Since you're using software developed by independent developers, you'll rely on the community for support.
So it's more of a self-help DIY kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. But the good news is, the custom ROM community is incredibly active, knowledgeable, and helpful. Websites like XDA Developers have extensive forums where you can find answers to almost any question, troubleshoot problems, and get advice from experienced users.
That's reassuring. It sounds like having a strong community is a vital part of the custom ROM experience.
It's absolutely essential. The community is where developers collaborate, share their knowledge, and help each other out. It's a testament to the collaborative spirit of the open source world.
Okay. We talked earlier about how some custom ROMs can bring the latest Android features to older phones. Can you explain how that works?
It's actually quite ingenious. Custom ROM developers often take features from newer versions of Android and adapt them to work on older devices. This means that even if your phone manufacturer has stopped providing updates, you might still be able to experience the latest Android innovations by installing a custom ROM.
That's amazing. It's like giving your phone a new lease on life, keeping it relevant even when the manufacturer has moved on.
Exactly. And it's a great way to reduce electronic waste. By extending the lifespan of your devices, it aligns with a more sustainable approach to technology.
So, we've covered the benefits, the risks, and the community aspect. Now, the big question, are custom ROMs right for everyone?
That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, the answer is it depends. It really comes down to your individual needs, technical comfort level, and tolerance for risk.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. Some people are perfectly happy driving a reliable, well-maintained rental car. It gets them where they need to go without any fuss. But others crave the thrill of restoring a classic car, getting under the hood, and fine-tuning every detail to their liking.
I love that analogy. It really captures the essence of the choice. So how can someone figure out if a custom ROM is right for them? What factors should they consider?
Here are a few key questions to ask yourself.
All right, let's dive into those questions. All right. So let's say I've thought about it, weighed the pros and cons, and I'm ready to explore the world of custom ROMs. Where do I even begin? What are some of the most popular and well-regarded options out there?
That's the spirit. There's a whole universe of custom ROMs out there, each with its own strengths and focus. It's like choosing a new car. You've got your reliable sedans, your sporty coupes, your rugged off-roaders. Let's start with a classic, Lineage OS.
Lineage OS. I've definitely heard that name before. What's it all about?
Lineage OS is often considered the gold standard of custom ROMs, and for good reason. It's known for its rock-solid stability, a clean and clutter-free interface, and a strong commitment to privacy. Plus, it's available for a wide range of devices, which makes it a great starting point for many users.
So, if someone is looking for a reliable and well-supported custom ROM, especially if they're new to this whole thing, Lineage OS would be a safe bet.
Absolutely. It's like the Toyota Camry of custom ROMs. Reliable, dependable, and gets the job done. But if you're looking for something a little more flashy, with a bit more personality, you might be interested in Pixel Experience.
Pixel Experience. That name rings a bell.
As you might guess from the name, Pixel Experience aims to bring the look, feel, and features of Google's Pixel phones to other Android devices. It's like getting a taste of the Pixel software without having to buy a whole new phone.
So, if you love the clean, minimalist design and the smooth performance of Pixel phones, but maybe you're not ready to upgrade just yet, Pixel Experience could be a great way to get that experience on your current device.
Exactly. It's a way to enjoy the best of both worlds, the hardware you're familiar with and the software you've been craving. Now, earlier we discussed security and privacy, which are obviously huge concerns for a lot of people. Are there any custom ROMs that are particularly strong in those areas?
Yeah, that's definitely something I'd be looking for. I'm all about keeping my data safe and sound.
If security is your top priority, then Graphene OS is definitely worth checking out. It's designed from the ground up with a focus on hardening the operating system, minimizing potential vulnerabilities, and giving you granular control over your privacy settings. It's like having a digital fortress for your data.
Okay, so we've got Lineage OS for stability and reliability, Pixel Experience for that Pixel phone goodness, and Graphene OS for the security-conscious folks. That's a pretty good starting point. But I imagine there are tons of other custom ROMs out there, right? How do I even begin to explore all the options?
You're absolutely right. There's a whole world of custom ROMs waiting to be discovered. The best place to start your exploration is the XDA Developers Forum. It's a massive online community dedicated to all things Android development. And it's a treasure trove of information on custom ROMs.
So, if I want to do some serious research, read reviews, compare different ROMs, and maybe even chat with some developers and other users, XDA Developers is the place to be.
Absolutely. You'll find detailed instructions, step-by-step guides, and a super helpful community that's always willing to answer questions and offer support. It's like having a personal guide to the world of custom ROMs right at your fingertips.
This has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I've gone from feeling intimidated by custom ROMs to being genuinely excited about exploring the possibilities. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap things up?
If you're even remotely curious about customizing your phone and unlocking its true potential, I encourage you to dive in and explore the world of custom ROMs. Do your research, be cautious, and don't be afraid to ask for help from the amazing community out there.
I completely agree. It's all about being informed, being adventurous, and having fun with it. After all, technology should be empowering, not limiting.
That's the perfect way to put it. Who knows? You might just discover a whole new level of enjoyment and control over your Android device.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into custom ROMs. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned something new along the way. And remember, the possibilities are truly endless when you take control of your technology. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you. Until next time, keep exploring and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with your tech.